नमस्कार दोस्तों और जय हिंद। आप सभी को स्वागत है इन माय चैनल 1971 वॉर बुक सीरीज। तो दोस्तों, in our previous video regarding the 32 Mahar Regiment, you must have noticed how 32 Mahar Regiment under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh Vishisht Seva Medal had moved up all the way up to Feni by the 7th of December 1971. In the previous videos, I have introduced you to the 32 Mahar Regiment belonging to the Kilo Force Infantry Brigade operating alongside the 31 Jat Regiment and Mukti Bahini ka 3 infantry battalions, the 4 East Bengal Regiment, the 9 East Bengal Regiment and the 10 East Bengal Regiment. These 3 infantry battalions of the Mukti Bahini were under the command of Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary, and these 3 battalions with the 2 Indian Army battalions, 31 Jat and 32 Mahar, combined to form the Kilo Force Infantry Brigade under Brigadier Anand Swarup, which was a part of the 23 Mountain Division. This division targeted mostly Chittagong, the liberation of Chittagong from Pakistani armed forces occupation. So, in this third part, we will be noticing how the 32 Mahar Regiment moves all the way up to Chittagong. तो 7th of December तक फेनी आजाद हो चुका था। 32 महार रेजिमेंट और बाकी इंडियन आर्मी के फोर्सेस जितने थे, आई थिंक 83 माउंटेन ब्रिगेड भी था, दे हैड ऑल एंटर्ड फेनी विद मुक्ति वाहिनी फोर्सेस। तो 8th of December से 32 महार रेजिमेंट स्टार्टेड देयर मार्च टुवर्ड्स चिटागोंग डाउन साउथ। हेंस लेट्स गो अप टू द मैप एंड लेट्स resume the advance up to Chittagong. So I hope you can see the map here. This is the town of Feni. This is Kilo Force Infantry Brigade, which contains the 32 Mahar Regiment. This is the 83 Mountain Brigade of the same 23 Mountain Division. ये दो brigade इसमें से था। 23 Mountain Div had other infantry brigades as well, लेकिन I'm just showing these 2 brigades. So Kilo Force at Feni with 32 Mahar Regiment were now going to cross the Feni River on the 8th of December. इनका टारगेट था टू एडवांस टुवर्ड्स चिटागोंग। एज यू कैन सी, चिटागोंग में पाकिस्तानी फौज 91 इन्फेंट्री ब्रिगेड एंड 97 इन्फेंट्री ब्रिगेड वर स्टिल वेरी मच एक्टिव। सो टू एडवांस टुवर्ड्स चिटागोंग, इन लोगों का फर्स्ट टारगेट था टू कैप्चर कोरेरहाट। कोरेरहाट इज बीइंग कैप्चर्ड एंड नाउ द मार्च स्टार्टेड टुवर्ड्स सीताकुंडू। By the evening of 11 December, this entire 32 Mahar was at Sitakund. लेकिन उन लोगों के ऊपर हैवी पाकिस्तानी आर्टिलरी फायरिंग और शेलिंग शुरू हो गया था that very evening itself, probably from these areas nearby, हाटहाजारी, चिटागोंग, और यहाँ पे भी बहुत सारे पाकिस्तानी पोजीशंस थे which I'll be explaining in a detailed map video from where the 32 Mahar were being subjected to heavy artillery barrages. Till 12th of December 8 p.m, I mean the next day, heavy fighting went on between the Pakistanis and 32 Mahar at Sitakund. And 12th of December रात को ही the final Pakistani army elements evacuated down south and 32 Mahar was finally at Sitakund, liberated Sitakund. So Indian army अभी इतना तक पहुंच गया। Now for the rest of the advance towards Chittagong, I will be magnifying this much area of the map for your better understanding of the advance of this battalion towards Chittagong. So dosto, as I've promised, I've magnified the map here. As you can see, that is the area from Sitakund all the way up to Chittagong. The areas I've marked here are going to be the important areas of battle. This is the Feni-Chittagong road going all the way towards Chittagong from Feni to the north. This is the Bay of Bengal. And Pakistani Fauj ka 97 Brigade was at Chittagong, 91 Brigade was also at Chittagong, and 91 Brigade ka 24 Frontier Force was doing most of the fighting against the Indian Army. So, 32 Mahar Regiment ka next objective was, after liberating Sitakund, was to move towards Kumirahat. So 13th of December में this battalion moved out of Sitakund and entered Kumirahat. स्पेशली द कुमिराहाट सैनिटोरियम एरिया। 13 दिसंबर के रात तक, आई थिंक बाय द फर्स्ट फ्यू आवर्स ऑफ 14 दिसंबर, कुमिराहाट वाज फाइनली इन द हैंड्स ऑफ द इंडियन आर्मी। नाउ कम्स 14 दिसंबर। 14 दिसंबर तक फ्रंट लाइन पूरा चेंज हो गया था, सुबह तक स्पेशली। तो 32 महार रेजिमेंट को पता था कि सीतालपुर में एक पाकिस्तानी कंपनी है, कंपनी स्ट्रेंथ रफली 24 फ्रंटियर फोर्स का। दे प्लान्ड एन अटैक ऑन सीतालपुर एंड एट 11 AM 2 companies, I would say 2 companies attacked this Pakistani position at Sitalpur, while 2 companies moved up all the way up to Keshavpur and Jahanabad, closing in on to Bhatiari. तो दोस्तों, आई होप यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड द चेंजिंग सिचुएशन नाउ। वो जो सीताकुंड है, वहां से कुमिराहाट आया, वहां से सीतालपुर, 2 कंपनीज केशवपुर और जहानाबाद में आके पहुंच गए थे। 2 और कंपनी सीतालपुर से आके जहानाबाद, केशवपुर और उसके साथ ठीक भाटियारी के ऑपोजिट पहुंच गए थे। नाउ भाटियारी में एक स्ट्रॉन्ग पाकिस्तानी डिफेंस था। दिस इज वन ऑफ द लास्ट स्टैंड्स बिफोर द कैप्चर ऑफ चिटागोंग। उसके पहले फौजदार हाट था, आई अंडरस्टैंड, लेकिन भाटियारी वॉज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग डिफेंस। तो भाटियारी में पाकिस्तानी फौज का ये स्ट्रॉन्ग डिफेंसेस के सामने, आई थिंक बाई 15th of December 32 Mahar had reached just short of the Pakistani defenses of Bhatiari. 15 December के night and by the first few hours of 16 December, 32 Mahar के ये जो 4 companies है, they had spread out very well and had dug trenches and had manned very strong defenses. लेकिन तब ये देख के पाकिस्तानी फौज उनके ऊपर आर्टिलरी फायरिंग शुरू कर दिए थे, उनके डिफेंसेस के ऊपर। आर्टिलरी बराजेस के बाद पाकिस्तानी फौज ने एक मैसिव काउंटर अटैक लॉन्च किया फ्रॉम भाटियारी राइट ऑन टू दिस क्लोज निट डिफेंसेस ऑफ द 32 महार रेजिमेंट। बट द 32 महार हैड रिपल्स्ड दिस अटैक। 16 दिसंबर का पूरा दिन, the entire day was spent by the 32 Mahar Regiment in fire exchange with the Pakistanis. लेकिन तब उनको पता चला कि 16 दिसंबर को, that very day, Pakistani army had surrendered in Dhaka. सच बात बताए, ये न्यूज जानने से पहले ही Alpha Company of the 32 Mahar Regiment had decided to launch an attack on the Pakistanis at Bhatiari. Hence, this attack was called off by Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh himself. Alpha Company, led by Major Bhaskar, was informed that ceasefire was going to be effective from the 4 PM on 16 December. और मैं इसके साथ आपको ये बताना चाहूंगा that the campaign, the official fighting campaign for the 32 Mahar Regiment had stopped just short of Bhatiari. Mukti Bahini ka help for the 32 Mahar Regiment was immense, including the heavy amount of public support that this battalion had received in this entire march towards Chittagong. Abhi aata hai the entire situation of surrender. Pakistani Fauj at Chittagong was aware that Dhaka had fallen. The 24 frontier force that was facing the 32 Mahar Regiment as shown in the map, this 24 frontier force sent an officer with a letter written by the CO of the 24 frontier force, who was Lieutenant Colonel Ashik Hussain. This letter contained the terms of surrender. This battalion, this Pakistani battalion, was going to surrender to the 32 Mahar Regiment. लेकिन ये जो एक ऑफिसर जिनको 24 फ्रंटियर फोर्स ने भेजे थे to the 32 Mahar Regiment for the surrender, this offer was turned down. This Pakistani officer was not harmed, and instead he was asked that the 24 frontier force ka surrender will be accepted by the 32 Mahar only if Lieutenant Colonel Ashik Hussain, the commanding officer of the 24 frontier force, arrived and met the commanding officer of the 32 Mahar Regiment, deciding to surrender. पहले जैसे मैंने बताया, 24 फ्रंटियर फोर्स was the only fighting force of the 91 Infantry Brigade of the Pakistani army as this brigade was still being raised. And after meeting Lieutenant Colonel Ashik Hussain, the 32 Mahar Regiment led by Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh decided to take the surrender of his boss, the commander of the Pakistani 91 Infantry Brigade, Brigadier Mia Taskinuddin. Brigadier Mia Taskinuddin did surrender to the 32 Mahar, lekin the official surrender of the 91 Infantry Brigade led by Brigadier Mia Taskinuddin happened at 11 a.m. on the 17th of December 1971 to the commander of the Kilo Force Infantry Brigade, Brigadier Anand Swarup. Brigadier Anand Swarup का I think instructor थे Brigadier Mia Taskinuddin during the times of the British rule in undivided India. So I think Brigadier Taskinuddin surrendered his own pistol to Brigadier Anand Swarup. जंग के बाद the 32 Mahar Regiment moved into Chittagong and stayed in Chittagong from 17 December to the 24th of December. Alpha Company Commander Major Henry Bhaskar was appointed as the first officiating commanding officer of Chittagong Port. ये आजाद और liberated बांग्लादेश था, लेकिन एक भारतीय आर्मी ऑफिसर Major Henry Bhaskar, later Brigadier Henry Bhaskar, still very much alive. I've taken his interview as well. He was the commanding officer of Chittagong Port and he worked extensively to bring back the port into working condition. Bharatiya Navy भी आ गए थे to remove the mines that were there in Chittagong Port, which was planted by the Pakistanis themselves. Total Pakistani फौज का surrender to 32 Mahar Regiment was about 1,000 men. 1,000 Pakistani POWs, 1 brigadier, 1 lieutenant colonel, Brigadier Mia Taskinuddin, Lieutenant Colonel Ashik Hussain, commanding officer of 24 Frontier Force, 2 air commodores from Pakistan Air Force and 2 captains from Pakistani Navy. And on the 24th of December, the 32 Mahar Regiment pulled out from Bangladesh back into their counter-insurgency operations in the Mizo Hills. By 28th of December, later I would like to add that the 32 Mahar Regiment had been converted into the 15 Mahar Regiment. That is how it is known at present. It is known as the 15 Mahar. Mahar Regiment के टोटल 5 जवान शहीद हो गए थे to liberate Bangladesh. I am spelling out their names. Subedar Fateh Singh Negi, Company Havildar Major Kedar Dutt, Sepoy Narayan Singh, Sepoy Bala Dutt and Sepoy Maruti Gaikwad. For their immense services in the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971 and with the bond of friendship that Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh had developed with Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary, the commander of the other 3 infantry battalions that was there in the Kilo Force, उसके बारे में मैं थोड़ा आप लोगों को बताना चाहूंगा. There is a letter that has been written by Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary Bir Uttam from Bangladesh to Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh Vishisht Seva Medal. That letter was received and was kept in the Mahar Regimental Center. And fortunately, I had met the brother of Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary in 2023, whose name is Major Motin Chaudhary. Major Motin Chaudhary is the one who hosts the party for the Indian delegation who goes to Bangladesh for the Victory Day celebrations every year. So I had given this letter to him and the letter goes like this. तो लेटर मेरा फोन में है, मैं आपको पढ़ के सुनाता हूँ. This is what Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary had written. Major Abdul Salek Chaudhary, 9th Battalion, the East Bengal Regiment, Bangladesh Forces, Dhaka. 26 March 1972. My dear Colonel Singh, I am sure this letter will find you in an excellent mood of satisfaction and joy. Bangladesh is liberated. All Indian soldiers have left the soil of Bangladesh, which must have come as a shock to these to those interested class who thought India wants to grab Bangladesh. Now that you are not among us, it leaves me an opportunity to cherish the memory of those days, which probably are the most remarking in Bangladesh. We felt so hopeless and helpless and undecisive, due to which no timely retaliation could be done by us. Also, all action that were carried out by us was in bits and pieces without any coordination. That was the time we came to know our real friend India, who came forward and stood next to these helpless millions and once again proved their broad-mindedness and humanity. During the Liberation War, your presence among us, your keen interest on us, and your advice to the development of operations infused tremendous amount of inspiration to us and used to give us a feeling of security. We all know Bangladesh will be liberated someday. It was the willpower which kept us always above from all conspiracies hatched on us by the Pak army to dislodge our movement. When I came back to my people in Dhaka, the same house, same roads, same sky and the same soil which were here 9 months back, but the color had changed. Sometimes I am also confused in thinking that it might have been a nightmare. People of Dhaka were surprised to see your army mixing with common people so freely. They said this is how an army should be. Army should not mean terror but a friend and security. I have no words to convey my heartiest gratitude and thanks to you. To think of your nation, which is so great, who had to sacrifice more than 1,000 soldiers and 5,000 injured for the cause of humanity to liberate Bangladesh. Please come to Bangladesh on holiday and stay with me. I would love to have you among us to recollect the memories of these days and show you the Bangladesh as much as possible. My best wishes to all your officers. I will never forget that incident when I met you in Bhatiari. You will be remembered with love at Chittagong. You will be remembered with Chittagong. The last line I think was written in his own handwriting, not typed. Yours sincerely, Salek. Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh, 32 Mahar. Unfortunately, neither Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh is alive, neither is Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry. Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh's daughter and his wife is still alive, and Major Motin Chaudhry, I think youngest brother of Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry, is alive. Major Motin Chaudhry is also a freedom fighter trained by the Indian Army at Mukti, belonging from the 1st Bangladesh War Corps, from the 61 cadets. A very, I can say, heartwarming touch between freedom fighters belonging to two nations, fighting for the liberation of Bangladesh against a common enemy. This letter made a whole circle back to the family of the man who had written it. And the way Major Abdul Salek Chaudhry had complimented Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh and the 32 Mahar is indeed commendable. I would like to say thank you to all Bangladeshis who supported the Indian Army at that time and who still has that affection for the Indian Armed Forces and for India. With an ending note, I would like to thank Colonel Hargobind Singh Dham, Mahar Regimental Historian, for recording this entire history and taking all the pain to forward it to me so that I can make a video on this. And I would also like to thank Mrs. Anu Singh, the daughter of Lieutenant Colonel Hargobind Singh, to come up forward and speak about her father after so many years. I think it's 54 years, going to be 54 years of the liberation of Bangladesh. Hence, and I would like to thank Brigadier Henry Bhaskar. Thank you to all the ranks and officers of the 32 Mahar presently 15 Mahar, who had served in the 1971 war for the just cause of the liberation of Bangladesh. Thank you to all and Jai Hind.